I won many trophies. So it's my first time in Spain. I don't know nothing about visas. I'm a great player, whatnot. I got talent. They recommend me going to Spain, a club called FC Malaga City. So I went from MPL 3 to MPL 2.
You tell us, what's wrong with the MPL 3 and 2?
They'd rather look overseas and bring players into the league.
Wow.
But it's hard. I'm talking 0 point. Like the percentage of it is just impossible.
League 2 in England will not look at you. You take Sturridge, you take Chan. You're going to take Sturridge.
Complete opposite.
Hello, everyone, and again, welcome to the season 2 of Inside Football, where we introduce and bring our players on board to hear from them about their football stories, where they're from. They're from all over the world. And today we have an incredible guest, one of our new signings, Chan Yelchan, Sudanese Australian player. And it's going to be a very interesting episode.
Yeah, Chan the man, welcome to the show. The show is Inside Football. We try to give future football players or guys doing what you're doing inside the game. Tell us your story. Where you're from? How did it start? Just start there.
First of all, thanks for having me. And where it started. So I was first born in Khartoum, Sudan. I was there for about a year. Moved over to Egypt, Cairo. My brother was born there. We were also there for a year. And then we moved over to Sydney, Australia in 2003, around July, August. Egypt, obviously I don't remember much, but my father told me it was a bit rough. He applied to go overseas to Australia, and obviously we got accepted and we went over there. He knew some people there, so we lived with like some family friends for a few months before we moved into our own home and started renting. Growing up, my parents did everything they could. Preschool, childcare, then I went into primary school, kindergarten, year 1. I actually didn't start playing football till I was about 10 years old. So, a bit late, but not too late. So I was lucky. I played for my local club called Guildford Macready. It was like a Div 2-3 team, under 10s. Played there for about 2 years. And then I went and played for a club called Lords, Blacktown District. That's where a lot of the Sudanese and the African community was, Blacktown. It's a suburb. You can search it up, Blacktown. I played there with Lords for about 3-4 years. 4 years. I won many trophies. We won our comp, and when you win your comp, you go to state. So you verse the teams of each state, the best teams there. We won that once, lost the grand final the other time. We also went Champions of Champions, which is also another comp from the best teams from each state. So even though it was like a local club, it was still like you could still go on and verse other good local clubs, And then I started taking it a bit serious and I went into the MPL system. This is where it got a bit tricky. I first started playing for Granville Rage, MPL 3 at the time, under 18s. I was there for half a season. And then I moved on to MacArthur Rams. I was also there for another half a season. So 6 months, moved team, 6 months. And then I went to a club called Riding. Now I'm playing under 20s. Riding was good. I learned a lot. I had an English coach who was from Fleetwood. I was there for a year. And then in Melbourne, before I went to Riding, there was a trial there called UK Football Trials. Have you ever heard of it, Ali?
Yeah. They go around the world.
Yeah, UK Football Trials. Well, they came to Australia. They had an event in Melbourne and they had another event I think it was in Gold Coast, Brisbane. So I was like, you know what not? Me and my brother, let's attend it. Let's see what happens. So we went there to Melbourne for a week, my brother, my dad, and it was a 3-day event. It will start at like 8 a.m., go to about 2-3 p.m. You train, have lunch, train again. Then you have like psychology class, talk about, the effects of football, like when you make it and whatnot. So it was good. It was decent. I didn't hear from them for about a month, maybe 2 months. 2 months later, I got an email from them saying, I'm a great player, whatnot. I got talent. They recommend me going to Spain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I went to Spain for a club called FC Malaga City.
It's a big club.
Not really a big club.
It's an academy.
An academy,
Yeah.
an international academy where they bring players from all over the world and they train them and they give them the experience, the exposure of how a professional footballer would live. So you would wake up, have breakfast with the team, go to training, come back, have lunch, train again in the afternoon, maybe a gym session. 1 or 2 games a week. They try to make it as professional as possible.
With the Malaga team, first team.
No,
It's
academy.
an academy in Malaga.
Yeah, an academy in Malaga, international academy called
got
FC
it.
Malaga City.
They use the same name, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not. Yeah, but we did play against Malaga, the pro team. We played their B or C team at the time. We won that game 2-0. I scored an assist, so it wasn't too bad. But I was there for Spain. I enjoyed Spain. Spain was really good. I was in Spain for 3 months. But what fucked me over was the visa. Now, when I got there, I'm 18 years old. I don't know nothing about visa. It's my first time going overseas since coming to Australia from Egypt at 2 years old. So it's my first time in Spain. I don't know nothing about visas. I'm not talking to the club. They're talking to my dad. I'm just focusing on my football. So, I hear about players talking about visa. Oh, yeah, we have to do our visa, blah, blah. We were 17, 18, so we had to do a student visa. Student visa.
And they give you a student card so you can live there,
Yeah. I didn't know nothing about that. The lads in my team were going to Spanish classes 2 or 3 times a week to get their student visa, learning Spanish. So I was like, how come everybody's doing Spanish classes and I haven't been to one and it's been 2-3 months? So I asked around, messaged the coaches, and I was like, hey, everybody's doing Spanish classes. Why am I not doing it? And then they're like, oh, you're meant to do it. But I was never told I was meant to do it. So, I was like, all right, no worries. Where do I start? They gave me papers. I filled it out, blah, blah, this, that. And then they applied for my visa. My visa got rejected. So the Spanish government or the Spanish borders told me I had to leave the country within, I think it was 4 days or 5 days. I'm 18. I'm going there to play football, and I hear I have to leave the country. My dad's like, all right, the best thing to do. I was stressed out. I was 18. I was like, why am I leaving? Am I going back home? I enjoyed it. I made a lot of good friends and whatnot. So my father was like, okay, I think it's best maybe you go to Portugal, spend, I don't know, a week there if you have to, so they can sort out your visas. And then my mother was like, nah, going to Portugal by myself at 18, it's going to be expensive, hotel, this, that, I don't know anyone. So luckily my mother knew friends in Morocco. Morocco and Spain is like an hour flight. So I went to Morocco and Oujda. I was there for 3 months trying to sort out visa issues in Spain. They were saying, oh, you have to go to Australia. This was during COVID, by the way. They're like, oh, you have to go to Australia and apply for a visa there, then come back. And I was like, that's not possible. There's no way I'm going back all the way to Australia, 14 and a half hour flight, apply for a visa and come back. That's ridiculous money being spent. So I made the decision. I was in Morocco for 3 months trying to sort out this visa, talking to the club, talking to the visa people. And then I went back home, went back to Australia. I played MPO. I went to SD Raiders, Southern District, MPO 220s. Okay, I went there. I played there for a year. And then I came up to Newcastle. Okay, I went to Newcastle. I was playing men's football first grade. Okay, it's the highest MPO 1 first team. That's the highest you can play. Above that, it's A-League.
How old were you back then? 19?
Yeah, I was 20
20,
playing 20, 20, and 21 playing first grade in Newcastle.
You was a starter or
start of the season, I was a starter. Scored 4 goals in like 5-6 games. Just playing the best football of my life. Season comes, score my debut. Insane goal. I'll show you, by the way, after. Scored an insane debut goal. All of a sudden, I get dropped. And I don't know. I just get dropped.
Later on, have you figured out why?
I left there for about 2-3 weeks. I worked my ass off. I was like, I'll get myself back into the starting lineup. Came off the bench, worked hard. Still benched. Asked the coach, oh, what's going on? He's like, oh, you need to work on this, that. In my opinion, coaches you got to respect the coach's call at the end of the day. If you're on the bench, whatnot. I felt I could play in that team. I could start, I could score goals. I was the top goal scorer for the first 2-3 games. 2 goals in 2 games starting, and I'm getting benched. I respect the coach's call and whatnot. A bit of an issue, but it's all right. I left that in the past. I kept working hard, and I was like, I want to go back overseas. So I looked around for opportunities, and I came to Dubai with trials for a team called Fleetwood United. They play in the UAE second division. Had a trial with them for a month, and unfortunately, I didn't make it. They said I had to work on my end product and whatnot. See, football is a very, very cruel sport. A lot of going to Fleetwood, I heard, they're looking for players, whatnot. I got there. I'm not too sure if they were looking for players because the team was stacked out. A lot of players. It was full.
You felt like it was a trial for trial, with no actual goal to sign someone.
Yeah, at that moment, because the team was stacked, I think the coaches had their plans already sorted. Maybe now they might be looking for players. I'm not too sure, but at the time I was there, I know for a fact that team was spot on full. You had 2 or 3 players in each position. So for me to make it, it had to be something miracle.
But EPC, how did it come on?
So after Fleetwood didn't work, I went to Sudan and visited family. While I'm there visiting family, I was on LinkedIn, an app of networking app. I was on LinkedIn scrolling through, messaging agents, clubs, whatnot. And I came across a guy named Bruce Brown. He messaged me saying, there's trials in Dubai, TFA. So I did my research, whatnot. And I believed I was good enough to play in Dubai. So I was like, you know what? As a footballer, you never give up. So I didn't give up at all. I said, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to work twice as harder, 3 times as harder. I had about a week, to get in shape. So I was training every day for like a week. A week is not enough. But I came here in a ways. I wasn't in my best shape, but, Ali himself saw I had, talent. He believed that if he worked with me, got me in shape, taught him, parts of the game, I could be a cracking player. So I came, did my 1-month trial. I did good. I impressed them. Ali suggested I stay another month and work even harder. And that's exactly what I did. I extended another month, worked even harder, and now I'm here, first team player.
Great story.
Yeah.
Listen, throughout your journey, there's questions I want to go through to give the guys inside football.
Yeah.
First of all, starting at the age of 10, you're 21 now?
21 now.
Yeah. So that's a phenomenal growth you've gone in 11 years.
Yeah.
First question, why did you start so late?
We just adapting to the country, you know what I mean? My dad's working full-time. He's also studying full-time, trying to, help his family, his kids. And my mother doesn't know much English, so she's just at home, helping with the kids and whatnot. 8-9 years, whatever it was into the country, my dad started knowing how the country works and whatnot. He was driving home and he saw a club play football. And he just went there, talked to hey, I just want to talk to a coach. I have kids that I want them to play. He got in contact and got us signed up. So my dad's goal wasn't, when he came to Australia, he was just like, okay, I need to do good for the family. He wasn't too focused about us playing football, but after he started settling in, doing good for himself, then it was like, all right, let me help these kids out. And that's why I started so late.
It wasn't your initiatives, right?
Nah, he just wanted to make money, help the family, put food on the table, give us education. And then after, when we got the education, and then he, put us into football, what I mean? And appreciate all that.
I'm glad you did. You mentioned in the journey, you went to club 6 months, then club 6 months.
Yeah.
What was wrong with the 2 clubs? Why did you move twice?
There was nothing wrong with the club. I just got a better opportunity. So the club I was playing for at the time, Grenville Rage, was MPL 3. And I got scouted from another club. They were looking for an attacking player. I went to one of their training sessions and straight away they offered me...
In the same area, basically.
In the same. They offered me... And it was closer to home. The second team they offered me, like free registration. We'll take care of you, free everything. Come, we'll train you. And that's a step higher. So I went from MPL 3 to MPL 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because we have a lot of players from Australia. We have a lot of players from Australia contacting us.
Yeah.
You tell us, what's wrong with the MPL 3 and 2?
Look, the MPL, what's wrong with it is there's no further, you know what I mean? There's no
future.
There's no future, and also there's no progression after a certain point. You know what I mean? So there's A-League and then MPL 1, 2 and 3. With the A-League, there's no relegation and promotion.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like a ladder.
No, it doesn't work as a ladder. So you're in MPL 3, you go to MPL 2, you go to MPL 1. After MPL 1, that's it.
They're all independent. They're not correlated.
It's very hard to go from MPL 1 to A-League.
So it's not a football pyramid, in effect.
It's not a football pyramid at all.
Unless they take specific player up.
But even that is rare. They'd rather look overseas and bring players into the league.
Wow.
Like Daniel Sturridge, Nani at the moment. They'd rather bring foreigners from outside the country. Like there's a few players, that go from MPL to A-League, but it's hard. I'm talking 0 point. Like the percentage of it is just impossible.
Which is crazy. I mean,
It's crazy.
and I think to my knowledge, there's 12 clubs in the A League, right?
12, yeah.
Yeah, 12 clubs. So that big country, it's a continent. 12 clubs. How many players can they take? 1,000 each?
Nah.
And then what? Let's say at worst case scenario,
1,000, yeah.
that's 12,000 players.
Yeah.
And the rest of the Australian players, nothing.
Nothing.
The pyramid thing is crazy. Like, why is there no relegation?
I don't know. And everybody asked themselves that, all the players and
So basically, the 12 have a monopoly.
yeah.
And the New Zealand team is there, the Phoenix.
Yeah, one New Zealand team
One
out
team
there.
is there. So
And
it's
they're
11 Australian clubs, not even 12.
Oh, and then they added 2 new teams into the A League. So it's like 13 teams. So it's even odd now. It's not even, I don't think. Yeah.
That's a big problem. So young Australian player, and you're from Sudan originally.
Yes, it
You're
is.
trying to climb the ladder,
Yeah.
and there's no future.
No future. So what happens? A lot of players, including myself, they look overseas because there's nothing within Australia. You know, there's so much you can do. You can win MPL 1, you can win MPL 2, you can win MPL 3, you can be top goal scorer. But everybody wants to go into the A League, and it's almost impossible. So everybody leaves the country. So look at the story of